The doctor is in. Do you turn to food when you feel sad, overwhelmed, or angry? Are you unhappy with your physical appearance and tired of fighting with your body and your weight? These are issues for millions of Americans who eat for emotional reasons. The good news is that emotional overeating can end, and you can be restored to health, beauty, and peace of mind. Joining us now is psychologist, mindful eating instructor, and the author of the upcoming book, Tame Your Appetite, Dr. Sheila Forman. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us on Bloom today.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
So, doctor, what are some of the reasons, two reasons, let's say, that we eat food?
Well, we eat food hopefully to nourish ourselves, but very often we also use food to cope with good things, to cope with negative things. It's very possible that we are emotional eating more often than we think.
So what are the differences between physical hunger versus emotional hunger?
That's really the key, and that's one of the first things that I teach people. When we are physically hungry, it's our body's way of communicating with us that we need to eat, that our body requires nourishment in order to function. But when we eat for other reasons, we're eating for emotional reasons. So if we've had a bad day and we come home and we raid the refrigerator, that's emotional eating. If we are sad and we open up the freezer and we grab some ice cream, that's emotional eating. So really the key to healing emotional eating is learning that difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger. Eat when you're physically hungry, and then find something else to do to cope with your emotions when you're feeling emotionally hungry.
You know, something that you said really stuck, because I never thought of myself as emotionally eating, but there are times where I'm reaching for food and I'm not at all hungry. So, you know, how can we tell if we are emotionally eating? Because you said some like overt things that, I mean, you know, it's a bad day, but are there any other things that might sneak up that would cause us to reach for food?
Well, there are many reasons that will cause us to reach for food. Among them are fatigue. Oftentimes when we're tired, what we really need is a nap or just some R&R, and instead we go for food to re-energize ourselves. So that's one way when it can sneak up on us. Other ways that it can sneak up on us is when we just are bored and we're looking for something to do, something to occupy ourselves. A lot of people will say, oh, I'll have a snack, or I'll go out for something to eat. So emotional eating can show up in a lot of different forms in a lot of different ways. And one way that you can tell the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger is what I call the broccoli test. If you're physically hungry, broccoli will sound good. If you're emotionally hungry, broccoli will not cut. Instead, you're going to be looking for the chips and the ice cream and the pizzas and all the other foods. So try the broccoli test the next time. I think you'll be surprised.
That is brilliant, because you are so right. When I am hungry, I will devour broccoli, but it's not the first thing that comes to mind when I'm just eating to eat. So what are some tips for overcoming emotional overeating?
Well, the first thing is to really learn to recognize your own body's signals for hunger. How do you know when you're really hungry for food? For me, honestly, it's a loss of concentration. When I find myself reading the same paragraph over and over again, or if I'm trying to write something or to say something and I'm losing my thoughts, that for me is a sign that I'm hungry and I need to eat. Other people might feel it in their stomach, growling, or some kind of contractions or pain. Other people might get a headache. So the first thing to do is recognize your body's signals for physical hunger, and then learn to eat in response to the physical hunger. That's the very, very first step. Then you can address the emotional part by recognizing what the emotions are that you're feeling and find something else to do, another way to deal with what's going on.
So, doctor, we have about just a minute left, but tell me about Tame Your Appetite, your upcoming book.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited about this. Tame Your Appetite stands for the art of mindful eating. And what I have discovered is that when you apply mindfulness principles, particularly mindfulness meditation, and you learn to check in with yourself, to learn your inner wisdom, the body will guide you to where you need to be physically, psychologically, spiritually. It's just been a wonderful journey for me and my clients, and I'm so excited that the book will be coming out early 2022.
I need your book, because it'll probably help me not inhale my food and to eat it mindfully and think about it and chew it and enjoy it. Savor it. Yeah, this has been so interesting. Thank you so much, doctor, for joining us on Bloom. You're amazing.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
For more information, you can visit TameYourAppetite.com. We'll be back with more Bloom.